Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your April forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading can help you navigate all of the energy coming through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. It's great to see you. Just a reminder, you can always use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. Let's get into your channeled messages. Today, as I tuned into dreams, I saw change coming, and I also saw that this was right around the corner. This wouldn't necessarily have to be something that you'd be waiting for. So the way that this appeared was I basically saw what looked like plaster or drywall crumbling down, as if someone had just taken a hammer and they were starting some renovation on some part of their life. Now, to me, this renovation felt really empowering. And sometimes if you've ever been in a space where it's too small, you just feel like the walls are closing in on you. And so what I felt like was someone was taking that hammer and opening things up, seeing what was beyond that preconceived limit. So for many of you, this could just be a breakthrough, like a cognitive breakthrough, where you finally have an epiphany or a light bulb moment where it's just like, oh, I need to move past this person, this place, this current opportunity in front of me that might be holding me back because there's something better on the horizon. So are you going to get that? It's kind of like there was a Peter, Paul and Mary song from way back, If I Had a Hammer. So if you had a hammer and you could break something down and then build something new, what would be the next thing? And what's holding you back from taking that moment, or taking that movement, I should say, to get to the next phase? So as it was almost like as soon as you make a decision to have that breakthrough, to get past that, then speed and momentum and energy came through. So I saw myself in this place. I saw all of this sort of plaster and dust and stuff coming down after I kind of like broken down the wall. I blinked my eyes and then I was on a train. I could still see a little bit of that dust, but pretty soon it was left in the dust in the background, and I was just moving forward like a bullet train. And to me, this shows that the only thing possibly holding some of you back right now is taking that first step. It's kind of like you're taking a swing at bat or taking a swing at the wall, getting rid of that barrier. And the wall, again, is representing something that is blocking you, a mental block, or could be a person around you where you have to say, I need to move forward, right? So we're figuratively looking at this, breaking it down, and for you, it's just really a chance to move beyond something that blocked you previously. The very next thing that came through was the star, and these two actually are after one another in tarot, so you can even see the numbers there. So we have 16 and 17. After a really difficult movement, sometimes after loss, sometimes after a change that we didn't want but we might have needed, we're rewarded with star energy. So what came through in dreams was this feeling of being starstruck. I couldn't tell if you were starstruck or the other person was, but that's kind of the point, because you both are star energy. Like energy attracts like energy. So know this, don't get in your headspace. If you meet someone and your heart skips a beat and this is like new love, new partnership, or a mentor, and you thought to yourself, God, it would be great if I had a chance to connect with this person, and they come into your life and maybe approach you because they feel the same way, it's because you guys are on the same frequency. So just embrace it. When it happens, just say thank you and yes, and reach out and shake that person's hand and just know that it's mutual, all right? So the other thing here is star power is coming through, your star power. Are you ready to step into the spotlight? Are you ready to really be authentic? We can see here in this card, she's taking a moment, just like the Temperance Angel, and balancing things out. Relationships, how you feel about things. Also, the star is in the flow of energy, so just don't get in your own way, don't overthink, and know that whatever work you just did in the tower energy that I saw, and however quickly it might be happening because of the train, it's all bringing you to this star moment. So we're going to take a look now, Gemini, and see where the tower energy might be and where the star might be. And really, I want you to be able to embrace that brilliance of the star. All right, let's get started. Just a reminder again that this can be used for Sun, Rising, and Moon. Let's get started. Let's see what's coming forth. Loving all of the air energy right off the bat. Just talked about temperance, so a little synchronicity there. All right, let's get started, folks. We're going to begin with catalyst energy first and foremost. Today you received the fawn, which is basically saying don't be afraid. When I think of deer, especially a fawn, sometimes they're just a little skittish. They're unsure or perhaps a little bit uncomfortable with loud noises, with change, with new people. So this fawn is reminding you that you can take one step at a time, but overcoming that energy of fear or anxiety might be the main thing that is, again, kind of causing a delay or a pause between you and that breakthrough moment that I saw, and also that accelerating moment that I saw too. So interesting thing with our universe, it's constantly expanding, but it's not just expanding, it's getting faster and faster. So I felt that same sort of expansion that could happen for you. And it's just a matter of believing that things could happen more quickly. And sometimes we are pre-programmed with something from childhood or from our parents or just from what we observed in the world where we think it has to be hard or it has to take time. It doesn't have to take as much time anymore. It doesn't have to be harder any longer. There could be this moment now where it's just going to be a little easier, a little better, a little faster. So the main message here is really just to allow that inner fawn to feel this sense of calm, zen energy. You can handle anything coming across your path. You don't want to over or underreact. Just take a deep breath, think before speaking, take that first step, move forward. You're going to be all right, folks. Again, I think most of this is just about a little bit of skittishness, if you will. I think that's a good word. Being nervous without having all the information. So get all the information. That's where these two pages at the center really play a role. So we have a page here which is asking for something, the Page of Swords, and then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is receiving. You never know until you ask. Not only that, you may also have an advocate, or your voice may get amplified as well. So people may hear this and say, that's a great idea. So we're seeing something come to light in a nice way. Let's just start off one card at a time, though, with the centermost card. This is about using your voice, focusing on that throat chakra. If there's something that needs to be said, please say it. If you're feeling that people are not listening to you, then it might be time to seek out a different audience. Because here we have the King of Swords. Look really close and you see all these beautiful stars in his eyes. To me, that is some of that star power energy that you have the potential of calling in. So use your voice, ask. You have a good chance of creating movement, getting resources, and getting assistance. Listen, you may get an idea or hear or see something that others don't, and you could possibly use that to, kind of get past wherever you're at right now. You have this ability to move. You're not stuck. That's the first big message that comes through. Not only are you not stuck, but I see like call and answer energy right at the center. Let's look at the King of Swords. Of course, this represents you, Gemini. This is really, really good. The top card that we could get in the suit of swords. This is saying that particularly this month, your words, whether spoken or written, have the opportunity to change all those little butterflies and moths that we see there. You have a chance to really create necessary movement. So when I saw someone using a tool to break down a wall, this is, again, we can take it figuratively. You could be using communication, verbalizing your ideas, and you could break past some sort of a block. A person not understanding something, a block in your own sort of imagination that before had stopped you from moving forward. Whatever it is, if you can talk your way through it, you're going to be able to move, and pretty quickly. Some of you have decided to take more of a leadership role. King of Swords is a pretty awesome leader because the ability for thoughts and words to just kind of go through them is amazing. Definitely one of the most articulate cards that I could pull. Also very easy to follow because they talk the talk and then walk the walk. And this month, that's really important. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you want people to follow you, make sure that you embody it. And that's the main piece there. You may also benefit from one or more people helping you out. So this is like a boss, and these are like two people supporting them. We might even have another one, a third, which could be a manager here. But you are supposed to rise up and look at the high level stuff, and then you can empower. This is especially for those of you that work in a position where you do have a team. Let them do their job and you do yours. And if you're in a place where you feel like you're stuck in the middle, which is what's happening here, there's a big boss here, there's a middle boss here, and there's two people trying to figure out what to do. make sure that your voice is heard and show that you have the potential to self-manage, because I feel like it's a little top heavy here. Okay, deep past. For some of you, a lack of patience. You really want to know when it's going to happen. It's like the kid in the back of a car asking the parents, are we there yet? The temperance angel, if she were in the upright position, would just say, one step at a time. Be very balanced, be very clear, be very present with each moment, and know that you're exactly where you need to be right now. That's the second big message here. Don't rush through something, because I saw that bullet train eventually bringing you to the destination. There'll be plenty of time to make up for any perception of lost time later, but right now, patience and divine timing is at play. This is usually for me associated with April, so by the end of the month, you should be where you want to be and need to be. So have faith, stay focused, and don't rush, and that's the main thing here. When it comes to reactions, temperance is also very cool, calm, and collected. So if you are feeling a little agitated, before you make a decision, before you sign on the dotted line, make sure that you get back into that state of feeling calm and clear. And you shouldn't really be doing anything until you're in that energy here. Recent past, we have the Chariot. This card here is saying, before you decide to turn the key in the ignition, where do you want to go? Because when you are clear, when you are intentional, that intentional movement saves you time down the line. So much easier to plan and really know we're good and waste not a moment of your time than to rush and then have to go back and fix things, because you only get one shot to make a good impression, and that might be blown. Also, it's going to take more time, energy, and money to fix things sometimes. So I would say really focus on the planning phases this month. Everything else is going to benefit. In the example of home improvement and construction, the planning is one of the most essential phases. You've got to get the permits, you have to have the right blueprints, you have to have the right materials and experts to build it. Because if any one of those falls short, then the whole structure is possibly going to be like that tower energy. So take time and build the firmest and best foundation possible. Some of you might be traveling. The traveling might pick up towards the end of the month. Pace yourself, take your time, make sure that you're feeling good about all the energy that you're putting forth. This is also just one of many control cards here. This is a card, again, of speaking up and walking the walk, talking the talk. And this is also just the everyday follow through. Make sure that you're following through on not just what you expect to be done, but what others asked of you. Just say, hey, this is where I'm at. Does this track? Is there anything else? This is especially for those of you that are in school or working. For those of you that might be retired or in a partnership, just love relationship. It could also just be making sure that you and your partner are on the same mental page. So that's that. Crowning position. I've seen this, a couple of signs have been coming through with Four of Swords in pivotal spaces. I think another one got it here in the crowning as well. For you, here's what I see with this. Some of you may be feeling a little bit of lethargic energy. There's a lot going on, and it could just be fatigue, because in your outcome, we have a card here that can show physical fatigue, and this can be mental, but also physical. It can be because you are a little short on sleep, because there's only so much energy in any given day that you can put forth, and it's really saying honor the limits. Speak up, ask if you need additional help, time, or energy to be, in the sort of vicinity. To speak up. You have a good chance of getting it. And people will take as much as you're willing to give. So let them know when enough is enough. And make sure that you are getting adequate sleep, rest, and meditation. And when that happens, this is also a chance. I do some of my best work when I'm sleeping. That's a funny phrase to say, but it's true. Like, as an intuitive, I need sleep in order to read for you. I can also read with cards and meditate, but I get some really great energy. It's a really beautiful channel to the intuitive source for me. So I love my sleep, and I need at least 6 to 8 hours. So figure out what your quotient is, how much you need, and don't deny yourself that essential building block. You're going to probably need more in certain parts of your life and less maybe, when things are easier, but just realize that you're going to have to calibrate it until you hit the sweet spot, okay? This can also represent boredom. Because I do see busyness here, but if you are busy and bored, it's a wake-up call. What are you going to do to feel more inspired? The lethargic energy may have nothing to do with the diet. It might have everything to do with this feeling of being stuck in the middle. Even though things look good here, there's this feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's the same old, same old. I thought we've already covered this. Whether that's at work or school or a relationship, there might be something here where you just feel like the thrill is gone and the challenge is gone or the inspiration isn't there. And this is a time to take the next step. And that's being indicated here by the Page of Pentacles. I love that this particular Page of Pentacles is looking at what's in front of her. There is a sense of discernment, pickiness, questioning. Does this match what I expected? If not, what am I going to do about it? If so, let's embrace this moment. Let's move forward. There is a decision at hand for some of you, and there's no wrong decision here except you just have to focus on what your heart is telling you. If it feels right, go for it. Okay? This Page of Pentacles is also saying you can open up new channels of abundance. Like I was saying earlier with the call and answer, if something is lacking, then be the agent of change and bring it into being. Speak it and then see it. And for many of you also, there's a chance here when it comes to negotiations to get a little bit more. Usually when we're looking at a page card like this, it could be like a magnitude of 10%, something like that. But there is a chance for an improvement, for change. And typically this is good news. Just like an ace, a Page of Pentacles in the upright position just represents something good coming in. We have daughters here, so there's also that kind of birthing energy as well, and abundance as well. So I feel like this is a really good moment for you, Gemini, if you're ready for it. It's just a question of this fawn energy. Is there fear holding you back? Is there this sense of kind of wanting to hit the snooze button? I talked to a previous sign about that. This is a time to be really awake, aware, and present. Let's see how you're showing up this month. We have the Two of Swords in the reverse state. It's starting to see and hear things even if you don't want to. A little bit of surprise, a little bit of disbelief, but it's all for the better, folks. In the upright position, this can be an indecisive card, one where you kind of feel like the view is clouded. But just as I saw in Dreams and Meditation, you broke down the wall, you broke down the fear, you got past the barrier, or you're about to. And once you do that, you can't put things back the way they were. You can't put something back in the box. It's like when you speak. After something's been said, it can't be unsaid. When you see or hear something in your life, now you know this is this moment of enlightenment. So embrace it. Ask questions. What you can do with Two of Swords, whether upright or reversed, is simply get super inquisitive. If you don't like something, say, how did this happen? If you don't understand why someone did something, before making any assumptions, ask, how did this happen? Why did we land here? Is there something that I should have known before? So just basically go into the investigative mode rather than the assumption mode. And then that way, education comes in, enlightenment comes in, and then you can start to plan out the next thing that you need to do. That's it. And then the main thing here is to keep an open mind. Keep your eyes and ears open. This is going to save you tons of time. And again, once you see something, even if it surprises you, it's for your benefit. And this is sometimes an uncomfortable thing. Again, maybe it's a friend or family member, maybe even someone that you looked up to, because I got the starstruck energy. And when you meet them, there's something unexpected. Just embrace the truth of it, and that's going to help you. Rather than denying, rather than trying to sweep it under the rug, accept it. If you have questions, ask it, whatever those questions are, and then move forward. We have some necessary healing going on. This is your environment. So for some of you, it's not you. There could be a person around you that's going through this. Someone maybe has just experienced a significant loss in their life. There could also be something around you that, everything's fine in your life, but something happens and it's a trigger and it upsets you. And this is about trying to find a way to deal with where you're at, what you can control, and what is actually in the periphery that's out of your control. So sometimes it's hard because we want to help everyone and fix everything, and there's only so much every single one of us can do. So do your part, help where you can, and then try to take care of yourself, because For those of you that are in sort of healing arts, you might be, for some of you, like a nurse or a teacher or a therapist or, again, a mentor. There is a finite amount of energy here that you can put out for all of that. So the Strength card in reverse, it's tied up with this, and it's sort of like fatigue and empathy. Empathy can fatigue you at a certain point, so just know how much is too much and then move on. If you have just experienced some sort of a setback, this can also show that the healing has begun, but you're still on the rebound. And it's important for you to take time. And I think for those that might be looking for the next thing, just take an extra moment or two. And if you need a couple days for vacation or personal time, or if you need to lean on someone, take care of this first. The 3 and the 4 of Swords, all of these cards work together. This is the realization. This is dealing with it. And this is healing from it. And it's happening in different spaces at different times. And I can't remember the exact book or the phrase, but when I lost a parent a couple years ago, one of my teachers who I keep in touch with, she mentioned how grief can be compared to a spiral staircase. Sometimes you're going up, sometimes you're going down. It takes a while for you to finally get to the top. And there's no wrong or right amount of time that it can take. And I, from my own experience, having loved and lost a lot of people in my life, just because as you get older, that happens, right? You know, there are times where you'll hear something on the radio, or there's a really great thing that happens, and you're like, oh, they would have loved to see this, right? And they're there, they're seeing it, but it's not exactly the same as them being with you. So for those that are grieving, give yourself time. For those that are healing from a breakup or disappointment, same sort of thing. You still need to grieve, and that sense of release, it just takes time, folks. Okay, so I just wanted to share that sort of visual of a spiral staircase, because it definitely made sense to me at the time. Now, as we're looking at opportunities this month, it's really good. Hope, fears, and opportunities, all 3 are represented by the Wheel of Fortune. Some of you may be afraid of actually what's going to happen when I meet success face to face, eye to eye. You're going to be fine, but there is this moment again of, this can't be happening. You want to pinch yourself, or you're feeling in the moment a little bit starstruck. But you are the star. You brought this forth. I mean, stars are on the pentacles, folks. That's also the energy that I was seeing with that. You are deserving of whatever came through. This can represent a much deserved amount. For some of you, this could be inheritance. It could be a raise. It could be you just getting better with your money. You could be working on your self-worth. Somehow the universe is bringing in abundance or opportunity. It doesn't always have to be money. The Wheel of Fortune can just be the end of a cycle. It's a wheel. It keeps spinning, like that Journey song, right? So this wheel is spinning, and I could see the movement and the momentum and the potential, because this is in opportunities. If it hasn't happened yet, I see it on the horizon for you. So know your worth, believe in your ability, and keep on keeping on, folks. The Wheel of Fortune is really, really good, okay? This can also connect you to the 10th month of the year as well. So for some of you, the closer you get to the 3rd quarter or to October, actually that's really closer to the 4th quarter, but as you get to the 3rd or 4th quarter, you're going to start to see that movement change and pay off. Outcome card. We talked a bit about this already. The Strength card reversed. For many of you, we can take it at face value. Some of you are tired and your body just needs a little bit of self-care. If you've been working too much, if you've been helping everyone, if you've been putting in late hours, for sure that could be happening. Whether you're a student or you're just a night owl or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or working 2 or 3 jobs. I know a lot of us, have to kind of like juggle 2 or 3 things at once. The Strength card is saying there's a limit. Observe the limit, take care of yourself. Now, this is also representative of a person. In the upright position, someone to be respected, an elder, someone who knows, just how to nurture, how to guide, how to help. Now, when reversed, it's a formidable energy that can be difficult. Moms and mentors and fathers and bosses can all have this energy. And it's someone who, like the traditional card, I'll pull it while we're talking. Typically, it's a woman that's opening the mouth of a lion. So on the positive side, she has the ability to, overcome substantial odds. The flip side of this, though, is It's not something that is easily maintained over time. And when reversed, it's someone that's trying to force their way or force their will. So for you, it's saying pick and choose your battles wisely. And if you have someone in your life that tries to get you almost like a puppet to agree or say or do something, push back. You have the strength energy too. Like attracts like. Just don't let this person step in and try to make you feel less than or make you do something that you don't want to do. Okay? Ultimately, though, if we look at it in the most elevated form, it's just saying you have what it takes to get through things. Sleep keeps coming through in these particular illustrations. Some of you are just overworked. Take care of yourself. This is a nice segue to help us look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll take a look now at health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. We already got quite a few messages with respect to that, but let's begin with the oracle card here. Spirit animal. Thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path with love. So we'll take a little moment here to bring Apollo up because he's my familiar in many ways, but he's also a little gift from spirit. So for some of you that have been thinking about possibly bringing a cat or a dog or some other kind of animal into your life, I have to say it's the best decision I made, and it's something that takes a little bit of time and planning. But that's one thing that I was getting when I looked at this card. If you've never had a chance to connect with an animal and you've been thinking about it, this can also be the sign that this is time to start to research that or give it a little more thought. When I was thinking of adopting my dog, who's a rescue, I started to plan 2 years before I ever, basically signed the papers. And that was because I had to think to myself, am I ready? What am I looking for? And then I just kind of waited for this moment. I'm sure parents have this feeling too, where it's like, it's time. So whether it's your heart or your biological clock or whatever, there's a certain moment where you're like, this is the moment to do this. So some of you that just might be thinking of bringing in a pet into your life, and this is all about that. Now, this is also about a closer connection to spirit in general. We can abstract at several levels. So some of you are just putting a little bit more focus into meditation. I mentioned this is the month for rest and meditation. So if you are feeling fatigued or busy and bored or whatever, the most important thing that you can do is take a deep breath, focus on literally on the breathing, but also on what it is that you want, how you got where you're at, just allowing yourself to be present and have a little space around you. Okay, let's now abstract this even further and look at all the messages with respect to health. I think for many of you, it is overcoming emotional challenges. 3 of Swords can be a breakup. It can just be stress at work. It can be something that happened that you didn't have control over. The good news this month, folks, though, is there's a lot that you can control, even this potentially. And if you're feeling kind of stuck in the middle, the good news this month, we're not even looking at career and stuff, but you can actually break through it. I don't feel like there's a glass ceiling. Talk to others about what's going on. I see support, I see nurturing, I see caring energy in the cards. So don't be afraid to do that. Attention span, and again, it could be coming from a lack of sleep. So concentration, attention, and just being able to juggle a lot of things. It seems slightly less this month, and I think it's mostly because some of you are just pulled too tight in all these directions, or you're just not engaged. It's really difficult to do something when you don't want to do it. I think many of us have been there. It's just sort of like, I'm not interested. Take that as a moment to just say, well, thank you, universe, for helping me know what I want and helping me know what I don't want. That too can be a blessing. I have to say overall, I'm actually quite heartened by this month. I don't feel like there's many things here that are coming through that are problematic. Maybe dealing with disappointment, grief, or an upset. Looks like it's more in the environment, not so much in your general life, but maybe around someone that you love. So that still can be stressful, especially if you're trying to support someone. So I do see that. Fatigue to the point that maybe if you are trying to get sleep, but you're not feeling rested, or you're just feeling general energy issues, obviously standard disclaimer always applies here. You should talk to a doctor. But this can also be about changing the routine. That's what I see when I look at this. Some of you might have been doing the same old when it comes to fitness or meditation or anything in your life. And this is about taking that cookie cutter and tossing it in the trash and saying, let's try something new. I don't fit into that mold. I have to do something that feels right for me. And that's pretty much it, folks. Otherwise, it's a good month. There were only a couple of tricky cards and we covered them. So without spending any unnecessary time on this, let's get into wealth, because I was already starting to hit on that a little bit here. You have a really powerful card here that came through in the form of empathy. I mentioned earlier that there could be some of you that are taking on too much from the environment. The Three of Swords was in the environment. The empathy card is like a sponge, and it's feeling and soaking that up and kind of just sitting with it, maybe a step or two too many. So I think that this is a chance for you to really use your communication skills, which you can do really well, Gemini, and say no. Some of you are doing the lion's share of work in a relationship, in a job, in an organization, but you may not be getting what you deserve, or it's just, you're done. You can't do it anymore. Someone else has to step up. I see a lot of people here. You don't have to do it all. So this is a reminder to be smart and to be kind to your body and to your energy. And like when we're looking at wealth, it's resources. It's like me looking at the suit of pentacles, time, energy, money. It's not just the cash that gets put into your paycheck that ends up in your pocket. It's also the expenditure of your time, how much energy your body has, and how much attention you can give to all of it. It all constitutes that. And then at the end of the day, if you are not happy and you have the payment, but you're not feeling it, then it's not fulfilling and the wealth isn't really there. Wealth is health. That's why these two are together too. And I read them in a certain order. So here's what I'm seeing for some of you. Fatigued or bored, wake up call. If you are feeling tired or feeling disengaged, time to move on. We talked about that. If it's bad morale wherever you're at, or if you are constantly trying to heal or deal with the overflow, this is when it ends. This is the month where you use your communication skills and you say no. Or you say, talk to this person. Or I think we should change our approach here. There's a lot of different ways to make the change happen. It's not just no. You can offer solutions, but somehow speaking up and putting a line in the sand. I think back to one of my earliest jobs in my career, and it would have been a long time ago now, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But I was at a .com startup back when those were actually things, and there was an expectation for me to work late. And we're talking like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, like early, like just sometimes they would order you food and just keep you there and keep you working. It was a different time. But I was so fatigued. I almost couldn't get home. I had to pull the car over because I was afraid I was going to run through a stop sign or something and take a nap. And that's insane. And then the next day, I just couldn't come in. I was tired. And I promised myself never again, never put my safety at risk. And also, like, I remember being there the next day when I finally did come in and I was tired. There's no job that's worth that. And guess what? Whatever that was doesn't even exist anymore because it was .com. It was some digital campaign. And I just am a lot pickier now with how I spend my time on this planet, and that wasn't worth it. So know when enough is enough. Sometimes you have to hit the threshold. You have to have the breakthrough or the breakdown to just say no more. And I've had moments like that in every single pivotal job where I just think to myself, I think I'm done with this now. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much taxing me, and no amount of money or whatever is going to equal how much I'm putting forth. So some of you have gotten that wake-up call. Good for you. Now you get to break through the wall and head on that bullet train towards something amazing. And that is what I see. Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Pentacles. So we're going to break this down a little bit. I just wanted to go high level first to see one of the trends. And now we're going to go granular so that I can help each of you. Those in a job, seeking employment, or retired. I also put students in this category here too. So students and retired people. We're going to start off first with those that are working. If you're working, people are listening. People are noticing. You can stand out. You have a chance for many of you to be in a leadership position or to rise above and say, enough with this, here's a better way. And they can take it or leave it, but you now have this new insight and wisdom. If you want to find something new, you can find it. You don't have to stay. But if you are feeling a little bit unhappy with whatever's going on, like people aren't paying attention, you're tired of this, you could be an agent of change. You can change it. I don't always see that in a spread. I see it this month. So I don't see a glass ceiling, but what I do see is a need to rise up and speak out. and be willing to go to the negotiation table or to talk to someone and get it in writing. And if you do that, it may not happen immediately. Patience, 10, this could also be October, but we could get this happening. So that's one particular trend that I'm seeing here, is the ability to make a necessary change and move past this feeling of frustration here or exhaustion, which these cards are showing. Some of you may not want to go to bat and do all of that. The good news here is I see one or two options in the periphery. So it feels like you could open up a new pathway if you want to. So you could find or make a job. So entrepreneurial, or go out and job seek and you can find something new. Or you can stick around and make it happen. And many of you are not just ready, but do that opportunity. So just acknowledgement of that. One other thing that I'm seeing, I'm reading for a broad audience, so there's different trends here. I mentioned this before, it's top heavy. This is a boss. That's a middle management position. That's a boss. There's not enough people doing work. There's too many bosses. So we need a more balanced organization. Some of you are understaffed. It's up to you to kind of decide if you want to, it shows me some job security, but it shows me also that it's not something that's sustainable in the long run. So maybe that's something that you want to think about or have a conversation about. But there are options on the table, folks. So if you don't like where you're at, it's time to move on. Okay, I think that's everything that I covered for those that are currently employed. You have a chance to break through this and come out of the woodwork, though. This is a month not to be a hermit, but to speak up. Let's change the focus here. Now let's look at those that are job seeking. I feel really positive about this, actually. There may have been a period where not a lot happened, maybe the past few months. And maybe even in your headspace, you're thinking it's not happening. I need you to break that. Think to yourself of the wall coming down and the bullet train coming through it. There's something big that's about to break, and it's positive. You are now going to be seen. It's time to get past whatever that previous experience is. Know your worth and seek opportunities where you would be rewarded for that worth. One of the sort of karmic things that we want to be on the outlook for is micromanagement. So make sure that when you are at a job interview, and also top-heavy management, talk about the structure, talk about job expectations and approval processes and stuff like that. What is it like? What is the leadership like? What is the culture like? What's the biggest challenge? And then talk to some people that have worked there, do some Googling. There's so much online now where you can learn a lot about corporate culture. Do your homework. But you have options on the table, at least a couple job opportunities or a couple of places where things should open up. And that's what I see with respect to that. Definitely talk to people because somebody in this group, may not be the first person you talk to, but out of the 3 or 4 people, there's one person that knows somebody. So keep communicating with friends and colleagues. Say, hey, do you know, I'm looking for this job, or I'm looking for this, and something will break through. This is a month where shift and movement happens. Okay, let's look at those that are retired. First of all, congrats if you're retired. Some of you are in this limbo. The 2 of Swords, 3 of Swords. It's sort of like there is a mourning period when this is probably for the freshest retirees, when you think to yourself, okay, this is new. What am I going to do with myself? Or what do I do next? Think of it as like when I was a kid and I grew up on the other part of the US, on the East Coast, we used to get snow days. That doesn't happen in California. And actually when I used to live in some of the Rocky Mountain states, you don't get snow days there either. But there was something special in the Mid-Atlantic region where they didn't have the same equipment. You would get a day off. It was like a freebie. I was so happy when I had that free day and I thought I can do anything. Think of today, not the entirety of your retirement, but today. What could you do that would be fun? Do you want to meet a friend at a restaurant? Do you want to go to the library? Do you want to look up a class that you could take? Want to plan a future trip? The sky's the limit. It should be fun. You're given that bonus now. Some of you may need something to feel like you're a part of a team or group. You can find that, but don't get fatigued again by overextending yourself. Try to enjoy some time to just be who you want to be, okay? I do see for those of you that are open and willing, there actually are some moonlighting opportunities. So maybe a consulting job or a chance someone comes to you and they want a very quick moment or a piece of your advice and they're willing to pay for it. So that's nice. Makes you feel like you're still part of that system without having to be plugged into it entirely. Students, you're doing well. You're doing really well, actually. Again, for some of you, just overworked. Exam period might be right now. Take care of yourself. This is a good card when it comes to passing something. These are like really good energies for that, but the only thing that could get in the way is stress or anxiety, or a lack of sleep. So just putting that line in the sand really applies to everybody. Let's move on to love now, love and relationships. All right, so this touches all parts of your life here. We have apocalyptics. To me, this is, or apocalypsis, they kind of made up a word here. To me, this is the Tower moment. This is the end and the beginning. So in tarot, and there's kind of an eye at the center of it, it's kind of cool. In tarot, I would connect this with doorway cards. The Tower, the Death card, the Fool, and the World. So anything where you're at the end or the beginning. And when we're looking at relationships, it's the next big phase. That's how I could break it down. So if you're in a long-term relationship, it's basically if you aren't already married or moving in with each other, it's kind of that next big thing. Or if you're married and you're thinking about a family, it could be that. Maybe one or both of you might be looking at retirement. There's something big happening, and it feels like it's a chance for you to step through that. And it's just about being there in a way that is meaningful for one another. Okay, let's break it down. As you know, I read for all types of relationship status. We'll start with those in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. If you're in a relationship, strong energy. Someone that is super communicative, that really knows who they are, knows what they want, and someone here who also kind of doesn't like to be told what to do. So you might have met your match and your partner. You're complementary here. This is you, of course. So it feels like the partner's coming through with this bossy energy. Gemini is good at looking at things from all perspectives, but I do think that if someone always has to have it their way, you're not afraid to take that on. So the biggest challenge is maybe arguments and finding a middle ground. And I think that that's something that can be negotiated. Give and take. That's what we see with the 2 pages here. Ask for something, you can get it. Listen to them, maybe give them something that they want, and then everybody's happy. Okay, so that's the big thing that I see here is compromise. Compromise is key. One or both of you may be just a little tired and not putting what you used to be putting into the relationship. So it's basically the universe saying, you get what you give, and if you give a little bit more, things will turn around. But right now, it feels like one partner might be dealing with a lot of stress, might be missing the other partner. There could be some distance, emotional distance that needs to be, the gap needs to be bridged here a little bit. I feel like it can be, but one partner doesn't want to have to ask. So it's kind of like they want you to read that. So if it's you, I would say this, there's still something to be gained by just saying, hey, I need some help or I need some support here. And it would be nicer if I didn't have to ask, but I also don't expect you. I know you're busy, so I like it when this happens. This frustrates me. Is there anything that I can do, or how just kind of check in with each other. I'm not a therapist, but it feels like that kind of work needs to be done. Communicate, find the middle, things will be all right at the end of the day. A vacation is overdue. Maybe even planning a trip together could be really good. Children, for those of you that have a family, are definitely in the mix here. There's a lot going on. And the challenge here is that's probably what's going on. There's too many things and the schedule's going nonstop, so make time for each other. It's fairly manageable this month. The only thing that I see for some of you is if there is any sort of depression or stress, particularly stress from work, that has to be dealt with, and there's only so much the partner can take on. So whether you're the one feeling the stress or they are, try to find a support mechanism so that the two of you can still thrive. That's it. Okay. One last note, actually. I say that's it, and then I saw the 2 of Swords. A thank you or an I love you or an unsolicited sort of gesture of appreciation will go a long way, both for you and for the partner looking at you. So just when they do something right, really, praise and hug and appreciate that. And likewise, extend the olive branch a little bit and do something for them too. For those that are single, well, you can definitely find love this month here with the 2 pages and this King of Swords as you showing up is really strong. The thing is, though, there's something that needs to be dealt with in your life. Maybe your own happiness, maybe work, maybe something going on here that has just been sort of like the fly in the ointment. I also feel like love, when it comes in, comes through at a time that's inconvenient or unexpected. Strong energy. There's a little bit of work you can do on yourself so that this comes through not this way, but maybe this way, and it's just a Leo. But right now, what I see is someone that tests your resolve, comes through and doesn't like to hear no for an answer. Just a little too bossy. So this is about you focusing on really knowing yourself, valuing yourself, speaking up, making sure that, just even that line in the sand and where you know when enough is enough. As you start to have these better boundaries, that person won't come forth like someone that's going to test your boundaries. Instead, you're just going to bring a really strong partner. And the Strength card upright, especially as illustrated here, can be beneficial. It could just be a Leo that really knows themselves. And you would be lucky sometimes to have the Strength card on your side, because if you're going to battle, that person has your back and can help you through things too. But you have to be in the same sort of flow as that person. And right now it feels like there's a little bit of inner work to be done. And all the stuff that we've talked about, taking care of your health and making sure that you're not overextended, is going to help you out. You have more than one opportunity, more than one person coming through. I think knowing what you're looking for and not just sort of like, don't accept the first person that comes through just because they're there. Make sure that this is truly a match because you're deserving of that. Okay? If you're single and happy, congratulations. You have a lot of energy coming through with development of self, opportunities in business, personal growth opportunities, and I think this is a time to really focus on your health and well-being. So that's what I see for those that are single and happy. Let's move on to the Destiny card. In Destiny, you received the Rabbit. In the upright position here, the Rabbit would represent everything that we would actually see here on the Queen of Pentacles, which is abundance, fertility, and growth. Why? Because rabbits basically reproduce quickly. So whenever you see something like this, it shows that something can grow faster than you imagine and beyond wildest expectations. Rabbits also move pretty quickly, and so this is a chance to take that leap of faith. The reversal of this is saying for some of you, you're shattering the illusion that it has to be something that's going to take longer or that you should accept less. And I say that because, again, in opportunities, you got the Wheel of Fortune. That is opening you up to things being bigger, better, and brighter. Let's go ahead now and take a look at Sun, Rising, and Moon, and we will expand this accordingly and see what's coming through for those different aspects of your chart. Sun, Rising, and Moon sign. All right, Gemini, Sun, here's what we've got. Decision time, judgment in reverse. This is a really cool judgment card. We see someone stepping up towards this portal. Instead of the angel here, we just have someone blowing the horn, but this is basically answering the higher calling. And sometimes we are in disbelief of our own epiphany and understanding. Like I was mentioning, for some of you, if you feel like something's over or something needs to start, you may be holding yourself back from taking the step because you're afraid of capability, like can you do it? What will people think? Or just disbelief that it's really now, it's happening now. So this is saying, believe it. The time is now. The sooner you decide what you want and take that step in that direction, the sooner it can start to happen. This is also a card of rising up. So some decks will show a phoenix rising from the ashes. The traditional illustration shows the souls coming up from the dead. And it's basically saying whatever happened here in the Three of Swords is history. Now you get to reimagine things. But you have to believe that there is a second chance. You have to believe that you can do it. And so moving beyond disbelief is the biggest opportunity. Arriving at a decision and embracing it, this is where it all happens. And then finally, we can take it at face value. Be less judgmental about yourself and others. Be open to things being better than you think, and just keeping an open heart and an open mind. In Gemini Rising, we have the Daughter or the Page of Cups. Third page, we have, if we take a look at the table here, we have the Page of Swords, we have the Page of Pentacles, and now we have the Page of Cups. So that's pretty darn good. This, for many of you, represents an unexpected partnership or some good news, this new sort of rush of creativity and insight, And it's saying embrace it. Don't be surprised when something good happens. You deserve this, okay? You also might be deciding to focus a little bit more on the core relationships in your life, friends, partners, loved ones, and saying, I'm ready, let's do it, okay? So if you're ready, tell the universe too. Say, I'm ready for love and abundance in the highest forms in divine timing. And that is a great way to open things up exactly when they need to come. And you're saying in the highest form, so nothing less than what you deserve and nothing less than the best. But generally, to me, this means good news, okay? And something that makes your heart happy. So I'm feeling pretty good about Gemini rising. Gemini moon, it's a chance to focus on progress made, especially when it comes to financial growth and personal growth. And it's saying, I'm not going to do something before it's right. And if we look at this as sort of like fruit, you wouldn't pick something until it was ripe. And you would make sure that, you were giving it time to mature. Same thing here. Don't do something until the time feels correct. Don't overextend yourself. Instead, one step at a time, just, slow and steady wins the race. If we go a few cards up, the Nine of Pentacles has the snail. We don't see it here. The test on this card is what we see with this. It's patience, and it's patience in recovery and growth. And if either of those ring a bell or resonate for you, then this message is for you. For the rest of you, this is just showing that you're treading in the right direction when it comes to finances, time, and energy, but there may be some sort of like momentary tests that are coming through where you just have to remember when to say when and basically not overdo it. Okay, let's take a look now at the final question. This is your chance to ask me something, and I'll pull one last card from Spirit. So whatever your question might be, ask it now, and let's see what Spirit has to say. It's a good card. It's a yes. So if you ask me a yes/no question, the final card is a yes. Now let's break it down. There's some nuances to it. Three of Cups can represent a celebration. So for many of you, some good news, some growth and opportunities on the corner, around the corner. It could come on the heels of a party or celebration, or this could be because of that. So congrats to those that just got some good news. For some of you, this can represent new love, especially, those that I pulled the Page of Cups for. So this is a chance for you to basically take it a step at a time. The Three of Cups is also just a very get to know you sort of energy. There's a little bit more interest, commitment, and connectedness than like the Fool, if we were looking at relationships. But it's saying, I'm not sure 100% who I am or who you are. We need a chance to get to know each other. So don't rush it. This can be in friendship, in business, and in love. So just take your time. The only thing that's kind of, if I had to pick a cautionary note with the Three of Cups, you can sometimes go to extremes. So make sure that everything in moderation: work, love, exercise, and celebration. Generally speaking, this is pretty good though. And it looks like, as I said at the very beginning, the end of the month should be a high note, and it feels like you're treading in that direction. Okay? That, my friends, is everything. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It helps more than you might imagine, and it lets me know what really makes a difference for you. You can also give me a follow on social media so you don't miss out on any future episodes, or of course, that when I drop something new like the podcast, that you're in the know on that. Subscribing will help as well. If you want to give back and support, you can do it right here through Super Stickers, Super Chat, or becoming a membership. And as I just said, that helps me fund future projects and do more videos just like this. You can also go to my website for all pertinent information. By the way, be mindful that I don't give private readings and I don't use direct messages. I just spotted an imposter on TikTok and I put in a report for that. But from time to time, they pop up. So be smart. Block report anybody that tries to pretend to be me. Again, you can go to my website to make sure that you're looking at the right handle on any sort of social media. And then just want to say thanks for that. I'll do the same too. If I see someone, I'll put in a report. And that's everything, folks. I just want to say thank you for your love, your support, and for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here without your participation, your love, your support, and your enthusiasm. Wishing you the best now and always. Have a great month ahead.